What would you know? Hi! Hello, recording friends. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Mel, and today I bring you guys a video that I didn't think I would have to do so early in the month. In fact, I had scheduled this video for roughly the last week of the month, and it is a Q&A in celebration of 50,000 subscribers. Yeah! And for all of you who are new to the channel, welcome. And for everybody who's a veteran, also, welcome back. I'm a turtle. Hi. So basically what's gonna happen today is that in celebration of hitting this milestone on BookTube, I am going to be answering some of your questions whilst I do my makeup, which has been probably my most requested thing to bring back to the channel. Books and makeup Monday. It is Monday as I'm currently filming this. It won't be Monday by the time that this is being uploaded. However, that doesn't matter. Before I even get started and even talk about the sponsor of today's video, I need to get cheesy for just a single second. It won't be a literal second, but it will be as close to a second as I can get before I start crying. But I do need to say a massive thank you to you guys. Like, just thank you for being here. Thank you for all of your immense support, for every single comment you leave, for every single interaction that you've given the channel, for how you guys connect with me and how I'm able to connect back with you guys, for every readathon you've joined, for every read-along you've been a part of, for every live stream you've attended, if you've joined the Patreon and are part of the Citadel. Also, thank you for being a part of the family, and that I get to share my love of books with like-minded people and people who understand my love for books and who likewise want to be understood. And trust me when I say that I understand you. I'm gonna start crying. And I'm just thankful for every single one of you. And I just had to say it at the beginning of the video. And I might also get emotional about this, but the sponsor of today's video is Book of the Month. This is the 1-year anniversary of working with Book of the Month, hitting 50,000 subscribers, and just so many things happening at once. Thank you so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. If you guys are not familiar with Book of the Month, it is a super popular and fast-growing online book service for readers, and their mission every single month is to promote new and emerging authors and help you find books that you love by bringing you 5 monthly picks from a variety of different genres. You pick one, it arrives in this stunning blue box, and that saves you all the time of researching so that you can have more time for reading, which is fantastic. And their team is incredibly hardworking because every single month they vet through hundreds of books to bring you new and early release titles so that you can enjoy more of what you already love at a super convenient price. Typical hardcover fiction is super expensive when bought at a regular bookstore, but with Book of the Month, it makes it super accessible for you. And not only that, but their policy is also fantastic. You can cancel any month, anytime. You will not be charged for that month. And the best part, again, is the price, because if you sign up with the code MelReads, which you totally should, you will get your first book for $9.99, which is an absolute steal, again, for new hardcover fiction. And let's quickly go over this month's picks. We first have Don't Cry for Me. What do you say to someone you loved but failed? Here, a father uses letters to express his love for his estranged son. Hey, we've got a fantasy this month too, and this makes me so happy. Unexplained disappearances draw a reluctant hero back to his island home to confront spirits in this spellbinding tale. Next up is The Golden Couple, the twisty tale of a therapist with unconventional methods trying to unlock the mystery of a perfect marriage. We also have Vladimir. This darkly humorous exploration of gender and power follows a cantankerous female professor in the midst of a scandal. And last but not least, we have Peach Blossom Spring. This multi-generational epic traces the enthralling story of a mother and son who journey from China to America. So those are this month's picks, and if you do want to sign up, again, you can use the code MelReads to get your first book for $9.99. Thank you so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video, and without further ado, let's get right into doing my makeup while I answer all of your questions. Hydrants are open, cool breezes. We are very up close and personal today, friends. We haven't done this in a while. Hello, I am barefaced. I'm ready to do my makeup, and the vision for today is like a very 80s glam inspired. I don't know if you guys have seen these sort of glam looks that are very neutral to very old school Hollywood glam. I want to recreate that today, but with color. Anyways, for our very first question today, we have one that was very repeated, and that is, what is your go-to coffee order? I am going to be super simple, basic with this answer, and my go-to coffee order is either a cappuccino or an iced caramel macchiato. If neither of those are available, then I would go with a Thai latte, which is what I'm drinking today. But I think whenever I go to a coffee shop, I always go for any of those three. Another very repeated question was, what do you do for a living? Are you studying? Are you working? Is YouTube your full-time? Just about every iteration of this question that you can possibly imagine, I probably got. And the answer is, I went to school for makeup. I'm a professional makeup artist by trade. However, ever since the panini hit, it was obviously very hard to carry out my job, and I started BookTube, as you know. And ever since then, I have been doing BookTube mostly as a hobby, escapism format, to not really think about my job that wasn't really a job anymore because I couldn't do anything makeup related. And it's been an absolute dream to do this, not only from the perspective of somebody who started watching BookTube when she was incredibly young. I was literally 13, I could say, since I first started watching BookTube, to now be on this side and being able to do it myself. It's been a dream, and it is also at the moment of my full-time job. Do you miss your red hair? And the answer is yes and no. I honestly, so here's the thing. I am a walking contradiction, and I literally change my mind every 5 seconds. If I was to tell you the day I got my hair dyed, the answer would be no. And then yesterday I watched one of my older videos for when I had recently gotten my hair done, and I saw how good it looked, and I was like, damn, the red with the blonde framing, it just looked so fantastic. Also, ignore my lips, I literally look crazy. However, I watched that video and I was like, damn, did I make a mistake by going back to brunette? Then I watched later videos of when my root was growing out and my hair was getting out of control. It was super long, it had absolutely no definition, and so the coloring just wasn't as vibrant, it wasn't as exciting. And so I think I missed the early stages of having red hair, but not necessarily having red hair, if that makes sense. There's a lot of upkeep to be done. I see a lot of nail related questions, which I honestly was not expecting. I feel very flattered at the fact that people are asking me about nails. I do not do them myself, which is a very repeated question as well. Now I'm going to my nail artist, which is honestly a dream. She is the nicest lady ever. What I do for inspiration is that I literally go on Instagram and I go under the hashtag nail art, and I will literally find just about anything and everything, all lengths and styles, and I just get almond shaped nails. These are my own nails, they are not acrylic. Oh, I like this question. What's the first thing you do when you wake up? So personally, when I wake up, I'm trying to not look at my phone right off the bat. I'm trying to not boot up my computer or check emails or check comments, because I went through a very interesting stage last year where I was doing that very often, and then I just figured out that that was the worst way to start my day, because I would literally stress first thing in the morning and it was just not good. I wish I had an interesting answer, like I wake up and as soon as I wake up I go do my coffee. It is probably picking up something to read. I have been trying to make it a habit this year to read every single morning before I even think of getting into work, and it's been massive help, honestly, to actually squeeze in some reading before I start out my day. I find that when I don't do that, I don't read at all, and so starting out my day with some reading has been really helping with the consistency. If it's not that, then it's me grabbing my planner and planning my day, or meditating. I like meditating a lot in the morning. How do you come up with the content you post on Instagram? I don't. I gotta be real. When I do, it's because of some miracle of the universe. I am very inconsistent with Instagram, and that is the real tea. What is one book that has surprised you positively? It'd definitely have to be An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson, which I read in my latest vlog, which I will most certainly link down below. But basically in that video, I retried books that I had DNF'd in the past. When I initially read that book, I read about 100 pages before I DNF'd it. I was very disappointed the first time around, and I think mostly I just entered that book with the wrong set of expectations. This book had been pitched to me as an ACOTAR-like narrative, and it couldn't be more different than ACOTAR. And I had such strong opinions about why it was so bad, why I would never retry it, and lo and behold, I retried it and actually loved it. So I think that one surprised me very positively recently. Oh, favorite eyeshadow palette. It'd probably be this super small Natasha Denano palette. It is literally a neutral palette. It's called the Mini Sunset, and it's got every shade that I need for like the everyday. It's got the shimmers, it's got the matte, and I can do a combination of both. And every time you see me with just like the neutral monochromatic eyeshadow look, I'm wearing that palette. Where do I start with Brandon Sanderson? It's probably the question of the year. And while I have not read every single one of Sanderson's works, I have read, I guess, the 3 primary works of of his, although he has a lot of books published, so I don't know what basis I'm judging that by. However, I have read part of Mistborn, part of the Stormlight Archive, and also part of Skyward, which again, I think I'd consider his primary works, or at least what people seem to hype up more, and two of those are a part of the Cosmere, which is his longest running project, where it's a bunch of series, but they're all connected in some way. If you're more into the sci-fi realm and aren't really interested in like an epic fantasy with a ton of world building, I'd say start with Skyward. And also, if you just are interested in sci-fi but don't know where to start, I would say that Skyward is a good starting place for sci-fi. That is certainly where I personally started. I'm biased towards Way of Kings, but just because I absolutely adore Stormlight. I think the magic system is still very mystical and there aren't a lot of answers at times, but I like that. I like the intrigue, I like the mystery. But if you want a very clear, dead set rule sort of magic system, probably go for Mistborn. And also if you like heist stories, then Mistborn would definitely be the way to go. But if you're into like bloodshed and war, Stormlight Archive all the way. Another question that I've been seeing a lot is, do you live in Panama? When are you going back to the US? Where do you get your books from if you do live in Panama? I never lived in the US, so I don't know if I ever said anything to make you guys feel under the impression, make you feel under the impression, make you go under the impression that I ever lived in the US. I have not lived in the US. I am not from the US. I am from Panama City, so from Latin America, Central America more specifically. I was born here, I was raised here, I have lived my whole life here, and I do not have any plans on moving anytime soon, no. And I get my books through a PO box, so they all need to get to a PO box because our mailing system is absolute shit and we can't get anything delivered directly to Panama, so everything has to be through a PO box. And I have to specifically get books in particular from bookshops or stores or websites that actually deliver to PO boxes, otherwise my order will get canceled. And so most of my books I do get from Amazon just because it's the safest bet. If not that, I order my books from Barnes & Noble from time to time depending on what I'm looking for. How would you get out of a reading slump if you are in one? I will give you the best tip right now if you're in a reading slump, and that is don't read. For some people it might sound really silly. However, as a person who went through a massive reading slump last year and I kept trying to push myself towards reading books in order to get out of a reading slump, I found that while I eventually wrote it out, and that is, I guess, another piece of the advice, if you want to just keep reading up until you find something that works for you, that's totally valid. However, reading should be fun. Reading should not be a task for you. Reading should not be something that you need to be doing every single day if you don't want it to be, because then again, it becomes more of a task rather than a hobby. And I found that while I was in that period of time where I didn't know what to read, or the books that I was reading just weren't the right ones, because there is never really any foolproof way of finding out what works or doesn't for you, I found myself enjoying books less and less, or just being even more critical than I probably would have been at another period of time, which is both a good and a bad thing. But honestly, just if you can, don't read. If you weren't a YouTuber, what would your dream job be? I'm not gonna lie, I feel like anything that I dream of doing is something that I've either already done or that I occasionally do, and I'm super thankful for having those experiences under my belt. Probably a full-time theater performer. I absolutely love theater. I have danced, acted, and sung my entire life. I, in my future, near future hopefully, want to get more into theater because obviously because of the plague I haven't been able to do it. Unbelievable how a lady changes once she does her makeup, isn't it? What made you want to start a YouTube channel about books? So I personally had my first YouTube channel when I was 15, and it was all makeup related. That was not the initial whoa, what just happened there? That was not the initial intention. My initial intention was to do a little bit of everything in that channel. I wanted to do books, I wanted to do makeup, I wanted to do fashion, I wanted to do lifestyle. I kind of wanted to just be me all in a single channel, and eventually it just turned into a makeup thing. And so I guess it was always a frustrated dream of mine to do that one day. And then when the panini hit, I found myself not really doing anything because my job was mostly freelance. So I was going to houses and doing people's makeup or working with makeup brands brands in store. So I was working a lot with Clinique and MAC and Maybelline and L'Oreal. And when I found myself not doing any of those things, because of course we couldn't leave our houses, I found myself reading again after a really, really long time. And the first month that I read, I was just picking up books left and right, whatever I could find. And I actually read 12 books in a single month. And I had nobody to discuss these with. I was talking my brother's ear off. He could not get away fast enough from me because I would sit down and explain the whole book to him, every character, every piece of world building, what I liked, and I didn't have anybody in my group of friends that actually read at the pace that I read or that had read the same books that I had read at that point in time. And so I started watching BookTube again because I was just like, I need to know people's opinions on this book. I found that through a comment section or just watching somebody, at least for me, wasn't enough because I wanted more out of it. I had more to say. And that's when I knew that I had to open a channel. And if it didn't work out, it didn't work out. But it was mostly as a form of escapism from not thinking about my work, but also just to somewhat, hopefully one day, connect with people who also loved reading and who had read the same books that I had read. And now we are here and I have indeed found my people, which is the best feeling ever. Not people asking if I have a boyfriend. I do not. And also not people asking to drop my whole birth chart. That is ammunition. Absolutely not. I will answer this, however. Somebody asked, what is your MBTI type? And I am an ENFP, which I think is the campaigner. And for wing, I know I'm a 7 wing 8. No, backwards. 8 wing 7. Is this where I use the excessive mirror that is in here? Because it is quite large, if I do say so myself. Y'all, I'm gonna sound so monotonous and I'm so sorry for having absolutely no emotion on my face right now. Somebody also asked, what do you speak more of in your household? English or Spanish? And the answer is definitely Spanish. My mom doesn't know much English, so obviously with her, it is absolutely Spanish all the way through, yes or yes. With my brother, since we went to the same school, so we both learned English and Spanish at the same time, it's a little bit more forgiving. I think we both just talk in Spanglish most of the time. So I think it depends on the day, but absolutely 90%, 95% probably Spanish. Are you ever gonna do a meetup in Panama? If you do one, I'd love to go. Why? This is like such a strange concept to me. I have never thought of it like at all. I am about to start turtling up, y'all. I have not thought about this before. I think I'm too awkward to even entertain the idea. I'm not awkward. Like I'm an extroverted person and I will talk people's ear offs. However, when it comes to entertaining the idea that I could do that as a creator, it makes me just turtle up. But if it's something that you guys would like, then I don't know where I'm going with that. Where is your favorite place to get sweatshirts? And that would be Cider. Cider has some really cute stuff on their website. Would absolutely recommend. What is the one book that reminds you of your childhood? I think my answer for this is going to be The Chronicles of Narnia, particularly The Witch. Oh my god, what's that one called? El León, la Bruja y el Lopero. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Is that what it's called in English? I only know the title in Spanish. However, it'd absolutely have to be that book. I initially read that when I was in elementary school. My school had this library that housed obviously a variety of different books. We had the absolute kindest librarian and she'd always encourage me to pick up books, and she was just literally the kindest human being ever. She would tell me to bring them back whenever I had finished them, to feel absolutely no pressure at any given time. And the first book that I actually checked out from the library was a Narnia, and then I stole it from my school's library. I didn't own any books at that time, and so I personally took a very long time reading this book, and by the time that I was done, I decided that the book was mine. And I never returned it, and it must still be somewhere in storage, still with my school's stamp on it. Have you ever regretted buying a book? If yes, what book is it? The answer is yes. Very much so. The story is funny and tragic all at the same time. As you can tell by the shelf up here, I have mostly all of the white editions of the Stormlight Archive by Mr. Brandy Sandy. I could not find Words of Radiance anywhere in the white edition. For some reason, the second book is harder to find than everything else within the series, and so I obviously took myself over to eBay because I wanted the freaking white copy. I was hell-bent on it. I told myself that that was the edition I was going to buy, and I found one for a really good price. I actually found one for $100, and I told myself, Mel, it's an investment for you and your collection. It's actually not that bad, all things considered, because every single one of these editions, when looked for online, is literally $500, and we're never gonna pay that. And so I contacted the man selling this book. I paid for the book, and then eBay decided to terminate my account because of suspicious activity, and I never got my money back because I could not even reach to customer service because they had terminated my account. And so I lost $100 trying to buy a white edition of Words of Radiance, and not only is my collection looking like this, but I also lost $100. Somebody asked for books for self-improvement, and I have not read a lot of self-help books. However, the one that I would recommend that I started reading in the new year, particularly when I took my break, is Atomic Habits, which is, I would believe, what a lot of people would recommend in this particular subject matter. However, I can totally understand why. It's not a book that says anything groundbreaking. I still haven't finished it. I'm still in the midst of reading it, but I think it's been helpful to read it and put names and terms and words to behavioral patterns and see how we can personally improve them. So I think in that regard, the book has been extremely interesting. Again, I think you shouldn't go into the book expecting something absolutely revolutionary, but I think the solutions and the analogies that it utilizes to explain what you've been doing and how to get out of those behavioral patterns, I think it's particularly really good. And so I'm personally enjoying my read of it, and I have been taking loads of notes, and I feel very reassured and supported when I do sit down to read it, because again, I genuinely do think that it's very helpful. A lot of you also kindly asked what I'm currently reading, and the answer to that would be Little Thieves by Margaret Owen, which is one of our book club picks for the Citadel, and I am about 215 pages in. I am really enjoying it. I love the morally grayness of all of the characters so far, and how the narrative is like very whimsical and fairy tale-y. It's actually super intriguing, and as far as retellings go, I'm not familiar with the fairy tale it's stemming from, but nonetheless, even though I don't have that information and I don't know what it is, I am still very much enjoying it. Also, a lot of y'all are just so cute. Y'all were like, nothing to ask, you're amazing, no questions, I just love you so much, and I love you all so much too. Somebody also asked favorite TV show at the moment, and if I had to choose anything, I would probably have to choose Ted Lasso. I am absolutely obsessed with this show. I think it is the best mix of comedy with wholesomeness and heartfelt everything. I didn't expect the show to hit as hard as it's hitting. Like, yes, it's a comedy show first and foremost, and some things are so outlandish, but I just think the premise, first of all, is fantastic. To have a American football coach teach a soccer team, or not teach, but coach a club soccer team. It's literally so freaking good, and everybody who's on this show is honestly doing the best job at bringing all of these characters to life. It is the one show that I have been watching with my brother whenever we eat, and we have been absolutely adoring it, and it genuinely took us forever to watch it, despite everybody saying how fantastic this show is, and I am really thankful that we finally got to watching it, because it is worth every single second. If not Ted Lasso, then I'd probably have to say Shark Tank, because I like watching that when I'm eating. Also, you guys always ask this, but I never answer this question just because, again, I turtle up way too easily, and sometimes I feel uncomfortable answering this question. And it is, what tier should I sign up to on Patreon if I want reading sprints, or which tier would you recommend joining? See, this is why I don't answer this question, because I don't know what to do. If you want to join Patreon exclusively for the reading sprints, that is the $3 tier. And if you want to obviously squeeze the hell out of the Citadel and everything that it has to offer, I would say either the Idris or the Capital tier would be the way to go. You get extra videos, extra live shows, extra content, you get exclusive Discord channels, and you just get a bit more perks. And so I think it depends on what specifically you want to get out of the Patreon, but at the very least, if you want reading sprints, it is definitely the under library tier. Somebody also asked, are you gonna do more videos including makeup and reviewing books. And actually, a lot of you guys have been asking that question over the course of the last few Q&As that I've been doing. Not that I do them often, but when I do them, you guys always ask. And the answer is, we're doing one right now. I am very hopeful about bringing these back this year. I think I was so dead set on the idea of only doing these when I was reviewing a particular book, uploading these on Mondays. However, I don't upload on Mondays anymore. I have a rough sort of uploading schedule for myself, and Monday is not one of those days because Mondays, like today, are the days that I film. So technically it is Makeup Monday while I'm filming these. Point is, I was dead set on the idea of it only being that I forgot that it can literally be me talking about anything. It can be me doing a Q&A, it can be me doing a wrap-up, it could be me doing a TBR, it could be me doing a book recommendations video. Literally, I have so much freedom with what I can include, quote unquote, Makeup Monday or makeup videos in, but I was closing myself to only one idea, and it was really starting to affect the way that I looked at that particular series, and that's why I stopped doing it, because I wasn't really reviewing books individually. I don't think I was also reading books that I was very inclined towards doing a particular review to. Like, even though I loved the book, I was like, I'll just do a reading vlog on it or include it in a reading vlog. So the answer is yes, they're coming back this year and I'm very excited. Would you ever film an unhaul? What an interesting question. I kind of wish I'd put this peach shade on my lid. It is never too late though. We're gonna fix this. In terms of an unhaul, have I ever thought about it? Would I ever do it? The answer is probably no. I don't know what it is about the concept of an unhaul that I don't love in terms of my end. Like, I do watch them, but I don't know, I even tried to film like a worst books of the year and I had my list and I couldn't bring myself to film it. I started filming it and halfway through I was like, I don't like this. I don't know what it is. I can't bring myself to do it. And it's the same with an unhaul. In concept, fantastic. Love it for the people. When it comes to me though, I don't know if I could ever do it. I literally cannot open my eye. Oh, why did you decide to go back to black hair? Love it either way. XX. Why do I sound like the filter from TikTok? My brother decided to launch the basketball. I don't even know why that came to my head. I don't even have TikTok, but that's kind of what it reminded me of. Anyways, I again reiterate the fact that the red was fantastic in theory and it looked good while it looked good. It's just a shade that requires so much maintenance that I did not really fully think about. Like, I knew it because my hairstylist was like, you're aware that you're gonna have to come back to get your root done every 1 or 2 months, right? Because your hair grows incredibly fast. And I was like, of course I know. But then I was like, okay, no, this is too much upkeep just to keep this shade of hair going. And I unsubscribed from the idea. I was like, I need to go back. I was also just like missing my brunette hair. Here's my thing. I have been dyeing my hair for years now. And every time I dye it, I always get blonde highlights. And I just missed seeing my hair with nothing on it. No highlights, just like straight brunette hair. And here we landed. We are here, we are thriving, and I missed it, to be quite honest with you, and I'm glad that I dyed it to kind of satiate the thirst of doing it. It's the same thing that happened to me with the red hair. Books you bought recently. If I told you, I'd be spoiling secret videos. Ooh, I like this question, and this is tied to, I believe, the last question that I'm gonna be answering because a lot of you guys kind of asked similar sort of questions. So I think I'll just encompass it all while I close out my eyes because I will definitely be doing lashes and lips off camera. Really not that interesting. However, were you afraid you'd be judged by people in your life about YouTube and Instagram before you started? And also tied to that would be tips to people who want to start out on BookTube. In regards to was I afraid, I mostly think about the first time that I started because again, this is the second try at a channel. This was definitely a great decision for the shimmer. This is Seg C. That definitely changed things. However, I don't know if I was really scared to be judged the first time around. I did get judged at one point when I did start, but I don't know if I was necessarily scared of that before starting. I was primarily inspired by a girl who was a grade above me in my school who also had kind of like a lifestyle fashion beauty channel at the time, and I had been wanting to start a channel for years at that point. I had literally literally tried to open like 3 other channels before I actually started the makeup one. So I guess it's always been a dream of mine to upload videos on YouTube. And I saw her and I was like, well, if she can do it and she's in my school, she's a grade above me, I literally know her, why not me? And so that really pushed me to start. I was just so much more dead set on the idea of actually starting and doing it. And so I think regardless of what people would or wouldn't say, because that's a what if, right? And the way that I like to look at situations and things is that if it's a what if, just completely erase it out of your head. What ifs are imaginary. You never really know what people are going to say, how they're going to react, if they will say something or react at all. And so if you're letting a what if stop you, it's something that's completely in your head. And if something ends up happening amongst those realms, it happened and it's a growth opportunity. And it's so cheesy to say it, but at the end of the day, no growth happens within your own comfort zone. And if starting BookTube, a YouTube channel, a Bookstagram, a book talk, a book blog, whatever it is, if it's something that genuinely makes you happy, just the idea of it makes you giddy, you want to share your thoughts on books, you just want to share content with the world, then you shouldn't let the imaginary take over, because if it brings you that much joy, just imagine how much more joy it's going to bring you once you finally find your people. And so my personal advice would be, don't think about that. If it happens, it happened, and you grow from it and you learn, and it only helps you build thicker skin so that when bigger things start happening, you aren't bothered by it. That's kind of my outlook on it, and that would be my advice. And now moving into the actual advice of it is literally just start. I think I work in absolutes almost when it comes to the idea of YouTube. If it's something that, again, you've been thinking about doing and you really feel passionate towards, stand in front of a window, sit in front of a window. Doesn't matter what background you have, just make sure that it looks a little bit tidy. Like, don't have a messy background because then people won't stay around to watch. As long as you've got a organized, clean background, people will stay to watch. People stay to watch for your personality, not for what your background looks like. Like, yes, that helps. And yes, it's aesthetic. However, if you have a good personality, it doesn't matter what your background looks like at the beginning. You can build as you go. And you really don't need the fancy camera. You really don't need the fancy lighting. That is something that you build towards as your channel starts growing and as you start deciding whether or not you are willing to make the investments to make this something a little bit more serious. My second advice would be, if you don't understand a particular subject matter, search it up. As simple as that. If you don't understand how to put tags on your videos, how to title a video, if you don't know how to edit, if you don't know how to do a transition, everything is readily available on YouTube. I swear to you guys, if you look how to edit on so-and-so, you will find something. How to do X and X intro, you can find it. How to do X and X transition, you can find it. There is nothing else you need but yourself, your fingertips, and a Google search. Don't let the lack of knowledge, if we can call it that, if we want to call it that, for lack of a better term, I guess, but don't let the insecurity of not knowing how to do something hold you back. Nobody is born knowing absolutely everything there is to know about social media. It's a process. It's a whole trajectory for people to know and learn and really, again, fine tune into what they're doing. Don't let that hold you back, because everybody's been through the learning curve. Every creator still looks on how to do certain things to upgrade their videos and to upgrade the quality. It is literally a never-ending journey of knowledge and learning. The most important thing and the best advice anybody could give you within this space is, and it's as cheesy as it sounds because you've probably heard this a million times, is to be yourself, bring your personality, and have fun with it. I know it's a super cheesy way to end the advice on this particular subject matter, but life is too short for you to try and be somebody else. I know, because I certainly tried it with the makeup thing. I was seeing so many creators do so many things, have their catchphrases, have their own editing styles, have the way that they approach the content creating, and I thought I had to subscribe to the same style, to the same idea, if only for the sake of being half as successful as somebody else. And it doesn't work. People will literally catch on so quickly. And last but not least, before I go do everything else and come back fully ready, the last thing I will say is, do not be concerned by numbers. Do not be concerned by the idea of growing, because I promise you that the minute you focus on that, you'll go down a very unhealthy rabbit hole of obsessing with numbers, comparing yourself to others, and doing it for the wrong reasons too. And when you do it for the wrong reasons, people can also tell, and it takes the fun away from it. YouTube is a very frustrating job in a million different areas, and the minute you get obsessed with the wrong idea of what this is, you will absolutely go down a rabbit hole that is not worth the time. There are a million stars in the sky and they all shine at the same time, and it doesn't matter what niche you go into, there is a space for everybody. So again, when it's your time, it'll be your time, and in the meantime, just have fun and it'll be a great time. And now let me go put on some eyelashes, do some lip stuff, and come back because I am looking absolutely crazy right now with nothing else on my face, and I promise you it'll look vastly different when I come back. And this is the completed look, you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I did apply some more shimmer on my eyelids because I needed a little bit more of it, but this is what it would look like with the eyelashes and everything ready. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a massive thumbs up down below. And now that you've made it to the very end of the video, I have a surprise for you. You're going to see a pinned comment at the top of the comment section, and under there I want you to leave your Instagram handle. I'm going to be choosing 5 people in honor of 50,000 subscribers, and I will be messaging you directly on Instagram so that I can personally send you a book from your wish list as a thank you for being a part of the family. So that is your little prize for making it to the very end of the video. And if you did make it to the end of the video, what can the emoji of the day be? Let's leave some sparkly emojis, some star emojis. I feel like that encapsulates the vibe of today with the sparkly makeup, but also with today's celebration. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you haven't done so already. I am constantly uploading videos that I am sure you do not want to miss. And if you want more from me, from Mel, if you want more community, if you want more videos, more live streams, and just in general, more content that you're not going to be able to see here on YouTube, or if you want to support the channel further, I do have a Patreon and I highly suggest joining it. There are constantly things happening over there that I am sure you guys will be immensely happy with, and that again, you won't be able to see anywhere else. So I would love for you to join the Patreon family. Once more, thank you so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget that you can check them over at the link at the top of my description, and you can also use the special code MelReads to get your very first book for $9.99. Thank you so much to them for being a long sponsor of the channel and for sponsoring today's video. And yes, I love you guys so much, and I shall see you on the next one. Bye guys.